Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. It has been a while since I've released a video, and that's because I rather do RC than make videos about RC. However, some of my review videos of my team associated race cars and race trucks are doing quite well, and your channel dies if you don't put out content once in a while. So here we are. A lot of the stuff on the channel lately has been RC flying because I kind of got heavily involved in flying. I kind of jumped right in with both feet after racing for about 2 years. I decided to give flying a try, and it took off. Ha ha! You're welcome. Dad joke. Anyway, what you're looking at here is the latest project for the channel, and this is a Kyosho Big Brute project. Yeah, that's right. I said Big Brute. I know these are two Kyosho Big Boss trucks, but when the project is completed, the restoration will be of one Big Boss and one will get turned into a Big Brute. Luckily, I found these more or less locally, at least in my home province of New Brunswick, Canada. I've been eyeballing the Kyosho Big Brute for easily a decade. Was out of RC, had no real plans of getting back in RC, but always would check them out on eBay and thought it would be neat to get one and put it on the shelf because my first hobby grade RC ever was a Kyosho Big Brute. And some of you who have followed the channel may remember this, my Team Lozy GRX Pro, which was my first race grade RC. And then, of course, all the team associated racing cars there. My vintage, mind the airplane wing, my vintage Team Lozy stuff, a Hornet that I'm restoring for a friend. Anyway, next on the channel will be the restoration of these trucks. I met a gentleman online who happens to be in Anchorage, Alaska, which is geographically probably the furthest place from New Brunswick that you can go to in North America, and he has some Big Brute parts and he needs some Big Boss parts, and we're going to do a little trade, a little cash, and I'm going to send him out a package of Big Boss goodies. He's going to send me a package of Big Brute goodies, and we'll get these things going. So something I'm going to try and pay attention to is when I repair something, when I restore something, when I watch a video and they're like, hey, I fixed this. But they don't show you how they fixed it. It's okay. But I would, as a viewer, take more away from that video if they actually showed how they did it. Sometimes they'll show a broken part, a couple of time-lapse photos, and magically, through the power of editing, the part is repaired. Well, I need to kind of see, hear what you did, how you repaired that part. Somebody rebuilt a broken front end with some kind of product, some kind of, I don't look like maybe it was even JB Weld. Well, did they make a mold? How did they repair it? I like to really see step by step in these videos. I don't know which way this is going to go. If it's going to be here's a dirty truck, here's a clean truck, but for sure the goal today is to start my annual Star Wars movie marathon on the laptop in the background while I detail strip these things. And I mean detail strip. I'm going to remove every single solitary screw, nut, and bolt, break them down to their individual components. I'm going to re-kit them, if you will, and then clean everything. And so we'll start with fresh parts, and maybe when something needs special attention, we'll focus on it then. The front end on this one's broken. And, or is it this one? This one's missing the screws here. For sure the front end on this one is broken. And that was a pretty common thing. My Big Brute ended up breaking there as well. Back in the day, you just call the hobby shop and get another front end. It's broken down behind the bumper as well. Really hard to see. That should just be simple glue job. And then that I'll try and rebuild somehow. Back in the day, we just put gobs of hot glue on top of everything. It's crazy. I will, as we get through, talk about some of these parts and how they seemed like they were designing these trucks with future trucks in mind. The back end here didn't need to be connected at the bottom of the knuckle and at the top of the knuckle with tie rods and ball cups. It seems like that was always intended to turn into the Double Dare, which was the same truck as this, but four-wheel drive, four-wheel steering. And having the knuckle designed this way really made that easy to turn into a four-wheel drive, four-wheel steering monster truck. So the suspension arms, holes on the bottom arm. Why? No shock has ever been attached there on the bottom of a Kyosho monster truck that I'm aware of. The other thing that really drew me to these monster trucks when I was a kid over the Tamiya ones, this truck was designed always to be a truck. It was an original chassis designed for the Big Brute. And then, yes, they did what Kyosho did what Tamiya always did, which always got under my skin, was the Big Brute. They re-released it with new wheels, tires, bumpers, body, called it the Big Boss. Monster, big block coming out the front of the hood. Really, really cool. My High Rider Corvette. And then, I don't remember the order. Big Brute was first. And then somewhere along the way, we got the High Rider Corvette, the Big Boss. Essentially, the only difference between those two is the body. And then we got the Double Dare. The Double Dare, the High Rider Corvette, and the Big Boss all had these chrome spoked wheels. The Big Brute had white wheels, traditional looking monster truck wheels, traditional looking monster truck tires. Tamiya, their monster truck line, with the exception of the Clodbuster and their 12 scale ones, the Midnight Pumpkin and the van. Oh, the van. Vanessa's van. It'll come to me. Anyway, the Midnight Pumpkin and the... that's going to drive me bananas. The Midnight Pumpkin and the van were identical in every way. They were 12 scale, and I think they had the gearbox off of a Hornet, and then some kind of ABS tub chassis off of something else, I believe. The Blackfoot was a frog, and I couldn't get behind that. I was like, I want a monster truck to be a truck, not a car with truck tires on it and a truck body, which is what the Blackfoot was, and the Monster Beetle was. They were just the Tamiya frog with monster truck wheels and body on them. And I didn't, even as a 14-year-old kid, I was like, that's a ripoff. And then there was the Clodbuster. Now, the Clodbuster is the truck I wanted to hate because it had solid axles. The Kyosho trucks had four-wheel independent suspension. Even the four-wheel drive ones, two-wheel drive ones, four-wheel independent suspension. And to me, that was just so much more advanced than a solid axle truck. However, you cannot deny the popularity and success of the Tamiya Blackfoot. It is still on the market today, still being produced today. A couple of different variants along the way. Arguably, not arguably, the undisputed champion of RC monster trucks. Came out in 87. Never went away. As far as I know, it's never been out of production. So the Brute came out in 87 as well. I'm basing that date on a review in RC Car Action magazine, December 1987. You can find that article online. They did a review of it then. And then I believe the Big Boss was 88. I'm going to look them all up just for my own curiosity to know. I like the history of this RC stuff as well, what came out and when. So maybe I'll dabble some of that in throughout my videos. So anyway, thank you for tuning in. Like the video to get some traction. Please subscribe to the channel, and I will continue to create content based around this Kyosho Big Brute Big Boss restoration project. Thanks everyone, and Happy New Year. I say Happy New Year because at the time of recording, it is December 30th. Cheers everyone.